Let's try graphing a harder equation. Y equals 2 times x plus 1. Remember, y equals mx plus b. The m represents the slope, and the b represents the y-intercept. In this equation, the 2 is in the m spot, so the slope is 2. And the 1 is in the b spot, so the y-intercept is 1. Slope represents the change in y divided by the change in x, or how much does the y number change when the x number changes. Since 2 is the slope, that means when x increases by 1, if x increases by 1, y increases by 2, because it is y change divided by x change, and 2 divided by 1 equals 2. We always like to look at how y changes when x increases by 1. It makes the division a lot easier. Since 2 is the slope, that means when x increases by 1, y increases by 2. So, if x goes from 1 to 2, y goes from 2 to 4. The y-intercept represents the y number when x equals 0. Since 1 is the y-intercept, that means when x equals 0, y equals 1. Let's graph this. First, we have to draw a graph. If you need to review this, go back. So, first, you draw your x line with an arrow on the end. Draw your y line. Remember, intersecting at the 0 point. If you ever have an issue where it's not a straight line, all you gotta do is erase it. That's why I use pencil. So we're gonna have an x and a y. Now I have to add in the numbers, so 0 here, 0 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do that in over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. For graphing, y equals mx plus b, which is the form that we have, all you need to do is find the b or y-intercept, and then you can graph the rest. Let's go back to y equals 2x plus 1. Remember that the y-intercept is 1, which means x equals 0, and y equals 1. Remember that the slope is 2, which means that when x increases by 1, y increases by 2. So, first, I'm going to find the y-intercept, go to where x is 0, and then go up to where y is 1, draw a point. And now, since I know the slope is 2, every time I move over 1x, I'm going to move up 2y. So let me show you. I'm going to move over 1x, up 2y. One more time. Move over 2x, move over 2x, up 2y. I'm going to add another point to this graph, so I have to add in more numbers because we got to the top. Remember how I said before, you can add 5 or you can add more. Well, to add another point, we need to add more numbers. So I'm going to add 6 and 7. So we're going to move over 1 and then up 2. So we have our points, but we're not done. We need to make a line out of these points. So I'm going to bring out my paper, line it up with the points that I have. and then draw a line. And look, we graphed our second equation. Let's go the opposite way, from a graph to an equation. I want to try to find m and b to create the equation y equals mx plus b. Whenever you have any graph, you should follow 2 steps. Find the y-intercept, or b, and then find the slope, or m. Start by looking at this line, and then find on the x-line where x equals 0. And then count up to where there is a y. Now, what number is at the y point? 2. Good. Let's set that number aside and write b equals 2, or the y-intercept equals 2. Then we have to look at the slope. Find where x changes by 1. So if it goes from here to here to here to here to here. And then follow how much the y changes from here to here to here to here. So we're going to look at our graph. Move your pen over by 1 and count how many times does your pencil go up. 1, 2, 3 times. I'll show you again. Move it over by 1. How many times does your pencil go up? 1, 2, 3 times. Now we know the slope is 3, or m equals 3, or slope equals 3. Now we have m and b. X and y are always x and y. So all we have to do is add those numbers to the right spot in the equation. Y equals mx plus b. Since y and x always stay the same, we'll put the m equals 3 into the m spot and the b equals 2 into the b spot. So you get y equals m equals 3, x plus b equals 2. So y equals 3x plus 2. Look back at the problems we covered and see if you can do them by yourself. We're all done. Happy practicing.